The Travis Walton case is another like the Betty and Barney Hill incident where alien abduction was claimed only in the southwestern United States this time. It was reported within a couple of weeks of the airing of the TV show The UFO Incident, which raised questions of some critics. The story begins on November 5, 1975, as Travis Walton from Snowflake, Arizona, was a member of a forestry crew that were responsible for felling trees in the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest, roughly 145 miles northwest of Phoenix, Arizona. A light was seen in the distance through the top of the trees, and Walton, along with the crew, got in the truck and went to investigate. Upon seeing it, Walton jumped out of the truck, and he said after raising from hiding behind a log on the ground, he was thrown back by a beam of light. The other crew members in the truck began to panic and talked the driver and crew chief, Mike Rogers, to drive away, but soon came back to see that Walton, his friend, was gone. 5 days later, Travis said he awoke dazed on the ground and walked to a phone booth in the small town down the hill of Heber, Arizona, where he called his sister, who got her husband Grant Neff to go pick Travis up. There have been questions about this case by skeptics and believers alike since its claim in 1975. Skeptics question the coincidence of having a movie, The UFO Incident, about the claimed alien abduction of Betty and Barney Hill only a couple of weeks earlier, at the end of October, which both Walton and Rogers would talk about. Also, members of the crew commented the day of the supposed abduction. Mike Rogers kept the crew late until dark and past the typical 4:30 quitting time. Also, he was missing for about 2 hours during the day. However, the most telling part of this abduction story comes from the research of Ryan Gordon, who traveled to the area outside of Heber, Arizona, where this alleged abduction happened. He traveled the route Mike Rogers, crew, and Walton followed, looking for the light, and discovered a very interesting fact on that dirt road. The map shown is a screenshot I provided showing a Google satellite view of the area he traveled. The following video is filmed on his iPhone by Gordon and reveals what he saw, which I believe gives the answer to what the crew innocently saw in the treetops that night, and why some crew members passed their polygraph and honestly believed what they saw was something otherworldly. From Erica Luke's YouTube podcast, linked in my description.
This is Rim Road, Highway 300. My vehicle is headed west, and this is the corner that everybody talks about in the book the very first time they see the craft. I do have this muted, and we're going to press play. I'm sure through here I'm going to stop quite a bit, but once I'm done, I will play the footage entirely. This is just shot with an iPhone. This is footage that I was preparing to show the guys back at work. So I'm talking here to the guys at work, which I do have muted. I'm backing up. And I'm zooming in. So I'm going to pause right there. And what does everybody see right here through the trees? But we see something hovering on top of the tree line. Erica, is this coming clear for you as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. It looks like other UFO cases that I've investigated over the years.
Yeah, so this footage was shot during the day. I have desperately been trying to get back out to the gentry at night when it's manned or lit up. Unfortunately, Arizona closed down all state and national parks. And they've just reopened them within the past 10 days. They're short on firefighters and it's fire season. Anyhow, I can't wait to get back here and get footage of this at night. But you see me zooming in. And for me, when I was showing the guys at work this, I actually had them pranked because I hadn't told them what had happened, that this was a UFO. Everybody who's been out there who sees this, because there's no way, absolutely no way, when this is hovering above or sitting on top of the tree line like this, you're seeing a craft, a square-shaped object that people are not used to seeing in the sky without something below it. And you cannot see what the stilts, the structure holding gentry up. What I am going to make a small ask of people is imagine this at night imagine this lit up from the inside. It's glowing all over this forest. It's pretty remarkable. So let's go back and let's play that from the beginning. I'm backing up here. I just want to really get the most perfect shot that I can show the guys at work. Zooming in, 100% unmistakable. That is not a tower. That is a craft of some sort, because that's where your head's going to go first, that's sitting there floating in the trees. Like, your head cannot comprehend what is going on here.
So a fire lookout gentry or tower stands in the exact place the men saw this light. I've taken a screenshot and highlighted the fire lookout tower in question in yellow in case you can't exactly see it. It's difficult to see even in the daylight hours, but as shown in my own picture, it's here. Something easily accessible and used with equipment borrowed or existing in the tower itself, creating a glowing craft high in the treetops, followed by using a spotlight to shine a beam of light onto Walton's body to fool this crew into believing Walton's part of an abduction. Surely an eerie event for clueless crew members to see, especially just after the popularity and buzz of the Hill abduction movie on TV only 2 weeks earlier. So, if the fantastic work of Ryan Gordon, by going to the actual abduction site and providing undeniable visual evidence of how this UFO could be created, doesn't convince you, he also had an interesting phone conversation with Mike Rogers, which he recorded. Here Rogers discusses this event.
All I can remember, is that we were talking in the woods one day, Travis and I, and I remember leaving a chainsaw on the stump. Okay, he had a saw, but he took his with him because we were talking about creating a UFO hoax. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how the UFO got there. Okay. But I remember that when I was driving the truck and he jumped out, it was all deliberate. It was all a staged thing, okay?
Yeah.
And he ran up there, and there was something about the UFO not being real, although it looked real.
Well, basically, so
and of course,
what you're saying is, you and Travis together hoaxed this.
yeah. The Travis's brother Dwayne helped him.
I believe that.
Philip Platt actually suspected that Dwayne was part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, he was his protector, and he was saying weird things on that Fred Sylvanus interview. I have nothing. I don't fear at all for his life. I know where he's at.
I know that was really that was really bizarre.
And I thought all along that he was just trying to how would you say it? Make himself believe that his brother was okay.
Also, the tabloid The National Enquirer offered a $5,000 reward during the day for the best UFO story of the year, which was applied for. They required a lie detector test to collect, which was performed by Jack McCarthy of Phoenix, Arizona. Here's what McCarthy said of Walton.
The National Enquirer has long had an interest in UFOs and in selling newspapers. They asked Walton to take a lie detector test and called in the services of Jack McCarthy.
I received a call at my home asking me to come to the Sheraton Hotel in Scottsdale and not to tell anybody where I was going, period. Well, naturally, I told my wife and picked up my portable equipment and left for the hotel.
A lie detector is used to reveal whether a person is telling the truth by measuring pulse rate, respiration, and blood pressure. Some experts, however, doubt its reliability. But after 2 hours of questioning and recording the reactions, McCarthy thought he had the answer.
When I completed my examinations, after reading my charts, I rendered the opinion to the reporters from the National Enquirer that the charts were deceptive, and that, in my opinion, he was attempting to perpetrate a UFO hoax. Well, the lid blew off the room. I thought his brother Dwayne was going to throw me off the balcony. he was raging like a bull, saying there's no way that his brother would lie. And his charts were very, very clear, obviously deceptive. And prior to the examination, the reporters from the National Enquirer, I forgot to mention this, asked me if I would have any objection ahead of time to having pictures taken of my charts, the equipment, and myself following the examination. I said, no problem. Well, after I rendered my opinion, the pictures were completely forgotten. They had no more interest in pictures. But what they did do, they went into an adjoining room and drew up a little form for me to sign, asked me to sign it, to the effect that I wouldn't reveal where I had been that day, that I would say nothing about this examination, and so forth and so on.
Travis Walton argues that he failed the test because he was excessively nervous as a result of his recent close encounter with aliens.
Despite his claim of being overly nervous, his reactions on the chart are in itself a disclaimer to that contention. He was not overly nervous. His reactions were normal. They were very deceptive. And in my opinion, he was lying and did not take any UFO trip.
So McCarthy felt the entire experience was a hoax. Travis Walton was given another test sometime later, which he did pass, although the procedure used has been criticized. Despite the controversy, the National Enquirer gave the forestry workers the UFO Encounter of the Year award, with checks amounting to a total of $5,000.
He also went on the Fox TV game show The Moment of Truth in 2008 to try and win $500,000. Take what you will from the outcome, his reaction, and so forth of the show. But it doesn't favor this tale. From a clip from the TV game show on Fox TV.
Travis Walton is a 55-year-old paper control inspector from Snowflake, Arizona. His claim of being abducted by aliens has made him an international celebrity. He has been married for over 30 years and has 4 children. He was asked over 50 questions by a polygraph examiner. 21 have been chosen for tonight.
Travis Walton, this is your moment of truth. Travis, thank you so much for coming on the show. Nice to meet you. Have a seat. Make yourself as comfortable as you can. That's right. So at this point, before we've started the questioning, how do you feel?
Oh, a little nervous, of course.
It's an appropriate response. I'll do everything I can to help you not be nervous. I will ask you, however, I mean, people are really very eager to hear what you have to say. Do you think you're going to be able to tell the truth in front of all of America tonight?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Now, you're not only telling the truth in front of all of America, but friends and family have joined us to hear your truth as well. Let's take a moment to meet them.
Hi, I'm Dana. I'm Travis's wife.
I'm Celeste, and I'm Travis's daughter.
I'm Roy, and I'm Travis's son-in-law.
Hi, I'm Cliff, and I'm Travis's son.
I'm Ken, I'm Travis's friend.
Glad to have all of you here. What a beautiful family, Travis.
Thank you.
Now, here on The Moment of Truth, we ask very personal questions, and specifically given Travis's story, it can get very personal. Are you guys ready for this?
Yep. Yeah, we're ready.
How about you, Travis? Are you ready?
As ready as I'm going to be.
Well, let's go for it then. Travis, level 1 has 6 questions in it. If you can answer all 6 of those truthfully, you win $10,000. Remember, if you're ever concerned about the answers you gave on your polygraph exam, you can change them tonight. Okay?
Okay.
We have a few questions to start our game here that are not about the reason that you're here, not about the alleged alien abduction, but are more a chance for us to get to know you a little bit before we go there, okay?
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about your job.
Oh, I'm a quality control inspector. I work at a paper recycling plant, and I just check out the incoming materials.
Question 1. Have you ever called in sick for work when in fact you just wanted the day off?
No.
You never have.
That answer is true.
He's not like all of us. I'm impressed, Travis. I've not only called in sick for me, I've done it for many of my friends. Do you have a lot of close friends?
I think so.
One of them is here on the couch. Ken, would you consider yourself a close friend?
Yeah, very close. For 40 years.
40 years. Wow. Question 2. Have you ever committed a crime and let someone else take the blame?
No.
That answer is true.
That's 2 truthful answers, 4 more, $10,000. What was it like growing up in the Walton family?
Well, I was one of 6.
Just like on the television show, huh?
Yeah.
Close family?
Yes.
And how were mom and dad?
I didn't know my father too well. My parents were divorced when I was young, but
I see.
I had a wonderful mother.
Question 3. When you were a child, did either of your parents discuss UFOs or extraterrestrials?
Yes.
That answer is true.
3 right. 3 more, $10,000. Do you remember what they talked about?
I had a brother that had a sighting years before, and so it came up on occasion, but no, not a dominant topic.
Okay. You live in Snowflake, Arizona?
Yes.
Is there much to do for recreation in Snowflake?
Not a lot. It's getting better. We got a stoplight here a while back.
Wow. Question 4. Have you ever used drugs for recreational purposes?
Yeah, a little bit. Yes.
That answer is true.
That's 4 truthful answers. Celeste, are you aware that your father had had that experience in his life?
When I was little, I didn't know, but now I do.
Question 5. Do you believe the U.S. government is covering up evidence that UFOs actually exist?
Very much so. Yes.
That answer is true.
5 truthful answers, 1 more, $10,000. So you believe that things like Area 51 and other incidences like that, there's truth in that?
Yes.
How about on the couch there?
I think it's probable. I mean, that it's likely that they're covering stuff up.
Yeah.
To some degree or another.
When Travis said the answer to this question, the audience clapped. Do you guys believe that there's a cover-up, audience? Do you think this whole experience, the abduction and all that's come since in the 30 or some odd years of scrutiny, do you think that's affected your health at all? I don't know how I would fare as well with that kind of scrutiny and people, quite frankly, thinking I'm nuts from time to time, which I'm sure you've run across.
Well, I'm sure in the immediate aftermath there were some stress effects that were pretty intense, but in the long term,
not so much.
Not so much.
Okay. Here's your $10,000 moment of truth. Question 6. Have you ever been diagnosed with any mental disorders?
The moment of truth will continue. The moment of truth continues.
Question 6. Have you ever been diagnosed with any mental disorders?
Technically, I'd have to say yes, but I'll need to explain.
Okay, let's find out if that's true.
That answer is true.
Well, that's worth $10,000, Travis, so congratulations. Would you like to explain that?
Well, One of the psychiatrists who witnessed my regressive hypnosis concluded that I was telling the truth. But since he did not believe in UFOs, he had to come up with something to rationalize this in his opinion. So he claimed that I had a transitory psychosis and had a delusion that this occurred to me. What he didn't explain was how my 6 co-workers had the same delusion.
A collective delusion.
Yeah. Well, right after that, I went through a battery of psychiatric examinations and had a perfectly normal pattern of scores with those experts.
Well, you've answered 6 truthfully, and I appreciate you answering them. $10,000 is yours if you leave, but that's not really why we're here. Certainly you can leave, just like any participant we've had on the show. Would you like to stop, or would you like to continue?
Continue.
Go. Continue.
Go.
Five more truthful answers. We turn that $10,000 into $25,000. Question 7. Prior to your abduction, had you ever seen a UFO?
Yes.
That answer is true.
So far you've been perfect. 7 truthful answers. So what did you see?
I saw some things that were not distinct enough for me to fully identify. To all appearances, to me, it was something unconventional, not anything ordinary.
When was this?
Many years before, so you know.
Question 8. Do you think extraterrestrials are actively observing humans here on Earth?
Yes.
That answer is true.
8 truthful. 3 more, we're at $25,000. Do you have dreams about your abduction?
Not so much anymore.
But have you ever?
Yes.
You have, yeah.
He used to have nightmares right afterwards.
What's that, Dana?
He had nightmares for a while.
Did you know him when this happened?
I knew him.
But you weren't married at that
We weren't
point.
married at that time.
What did you think when you first heard the story?
Well, you know, my brother, and I knew most of the guys on the crew. You believe people that you know.
6 people
But,
on that crew.
Yeah.
All had the same exact story.
Mm-hmm.
Question 9. Do you believe that it is possible that your entire abduction experience may have been a hallucination?
No.
That answer is true.
That says quite a bit. So this whole experience must have really put Snowflake on the map.
Yes.
Yeah?
Very much so. Sort of divided the town.
How did it divide the town? You had believers and non-believers?
Yeah. Sometimes right down the middle of marriages. One partner believed and one didn't.
Question 10. Do you think most people in your hometown believe you were abducted by aliens?
No. No, not most of them.
That answer is true.
10 truthful.
However, I
Yes.
think the percentage of people that believe has increased over time, not gone down. So, you know, as more of the true facts
Yes.
came out, belief increased.
Travis, I sit here and I think of how many years you've lived with this, and how many people, certainly in 1975, and through the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, cynics and skeptics will say things that have got to be hurtful. This could not have been a fun ride for you.
It's certainly thickened my skin, but, you know, some of it still gets through.
Brings me to this question. It's worth $25,000, and it is a pretty personal question. Okay, shall we continue?
Okay.
Question 11. Do you sometimes feel as if your abduction experience ruined your life?
The moment of truth will continue. The moment of truth continues.
Okay, shall we continue?
Okay.
Question 11. Do you sometimes feel as if your abduction experience ruined your life?
Yes, absolutely.
That answer is true.
Well, congratulations, that's $25,000. And that is yours to keep. Dana, you've known him all your adult life, essentially. How do you feel hearing that admission?
Kind of shocked, but I know he probably does feel that way at times.
I don't think there's anybody watching who couldn't understand that. You want to elaborate on that at all and tell us what it's been like for you?
Well, you know, in order to cope with things, you got to look for the good in everything. But so, you know, I know that I've gained some insight and some understanding that maybe nobody else knows. But at the same time, at a price no one would willingly pay.
I certainly understand that. Celeste, as his daughter, you've had to witness this and probably bear the brunt of it yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
It can't have been easy.
No, it was sometimes hard when I was a kid in school, and you know, the other kids that, you know, their parents probably told them that my dad made up some story. And
Cliff, you're the oldest.
Right.
Do you remember when you first discovered that there was this story and this was your father's legacy, and there were certain people that believed and certain people that didn't?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't remember exactly what point, but you know, I grew up with it, and yeah, it caused some, you know, teasing, but I always just thought it was amazing. You know, I know my dad's character, and he's just a down-to-earth guy, honest guy, and I totally believed him. So
you've answered 11 truthfully. That's $25,000. It's your money, but we can't add to it 4 more truthful answers. We get to $100,000, and in this next section, we're going to ask some very specific questions. Questions about that day in 1975. So would you like to continue?
Yeah. I'll go forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think at some point you have to know your own truth regardless of what people think. I would imagine, however, the credibility of your story has been a constant fight in your life.
Yes, it never ends.
And that every aspect of you as a person is under scrutiny.
Yes.
We asked some of those questions here tonight.
Yes.
Before we get to the next question, can you tell us what happened in your own words that day?
Well, it was just a crew of guys that put in some hard work in the woods and were headed home in the evening. And,
what were you doing? Were you logging?
Well, we were cutting trees for fire control.
Okay. So you'd worked a long day, now you're heading home and you're in a pickup truck?
Yeah, it was a double cab truck, so
Sure.
all 7 of us fit in one truck.
And it's nighttime?
Yes. We saw this object glowing through the trees. First, we didn't know what it was, but when we got closer where we could see it, boom, there it was. It was unmistakable. Less than 100 feet away was this object hovering there.
What was the shape of the object?
It was a disc-shaped metallic object outlined against the sky. So I threw open the door, headed towards it, kind of showing off, being a hot shot in front of the rest of the crew, and I got too close.
What happens then?
Well, I could hear this sound as I got closer, but when I got right up there, suddenly the sound got louder, and it started to move and rise up a little bit, And so I jumped for cover. There was some logging debris there. I got down behind a log, and those guys were yelling at me to get away from there. Some of them were swearing, and they were pretty excited. You know, they wanted to split, and by then I was pretty terrified myself. I realized what a dumb thing that was to do.
Yeah.
So I made up my mind to get the hell out of there. And so I raised up, got ready to sprint, and just as I straightened up, boom. Those guys said they saw a blast of energy come out of that thing that just threw me back through the air.
Question 12. Did you drink any alcoholic beverages on the day you were abducted by a UFO?
The moment of truth will continue. The moment of truth continues.
Question 12. Did you drink any alcoholic beverages on the day you were abducted by a UFO?
You know, there's times I wish I could say that's what it all was. I just got too much. But no, I didn't have a drop.
That answer is true.
That's 12. You talk about the fact that there were 7 of you and 6 crew members in this double cab truck, and you were the only guy who jumped out of the truck and ran towards the saucer. Boy, if you had that to do over again, I'm sure you would have done it differently.
Absolutely.
And given that, here comes question 13. Have you ever wished that any of your co-workers were abducted instead of you? Ken, what do you think about that question?
I'm sorry I didn't run over there with him.
Is that right?
Yeah, it would have been an experience of a lifetime. He doesn't
I bet
agree.
you didn't think that back then.
Yeah, I see the whole thing in a positive light.
But then again, Ken, you've had 35 years where you could say it wasn't me. So the question is on you. Have you ever wished that any of your co-workers were abducted instead of you?
I'll have to admit, yes, anybody but me.
That answer is true.
13 truthful. You need 2 more truthful answers to get to that $100,000 mark. And like I said, it ratchets up as we get further and further. You okay?
Yeah.
Taking some deep breaths. You know, one of the things that is certainly intriguing and also something I respect about you, Travis, is that you're here. Your story has been the same since the day it happened. And as many people as there may be that believe you or are supportive of you, I would say for everyone that supports you, there've got to be 10 that have told you that you're absolutely nuts. And that can't be fun. As a matter of fact, there are so many skeptics, there are even magazines based on the whole purpose of debunking these stories. That can't sit too well with you.
No, it doesn't. And I think the arch skeptic is as illogical as the true believer.
Fanatical believer.
Fanatical believer, yeah.
Shall we continue?
Yes.
Okay. This question won't be asked by me. It's by a surprise guest. His name is Michael Shermer. He's the co-founder of Skeptic Magazine, and he has a question for you. Let's welcome Michael out right now. Hello, Michael. Okay, Michael, your magazine is called Skeptic Magazine. The whole point is to prove these stories to be false. This is a question from Michael to you. You answer truthfully, you're still in the game. Michael, question 14.
Travis, do you have any evidence to support your claim of being abducted?
I'd say there's piles of it, yes.
That answer is true.
You bet. Congratulations, that's 14th truthful.
I want to say I like Travis very much as a person, but extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Travis's story is an extraordinary claim. The evidence is just his word.
The Geiger counter readings, the electromagnetic readings, that's physical evidence. You can't hold it in your hand, but the skeptical investigators made these assessments, and all the witnesses, that's evidence.
But we do know that you had been fantasizing and thinking about UFOs and aliens long before that experience. And that makes me suspect that it's in your mind.
I'd like to ask you a question. Have you read my book?
Yeah, I just don't accept it. I think it's possible that you just made up the story. I hate to say it.
I sure wish that we had a piece of the spaceship, and you know who else would wish it more than you or I? Travis Walton, who's have to live through this story for 35 years. Michael Shermer, I thank you very much for coming here and representing your point of view and asking a question. Thank you.
Well, that was a surprise.
It was a surprise, but you know we have surprises, my friend. That's one of the things we're good at. Let's continue. You've answered 14 truthful. If you answer the next question truthfully, it's $100,000. Now, regardless of what happens, you have $25,000 for your time here. I thank you again for sharing your story with us. This is a $100,000 moment of truth, and that's not going to be an easy softball of a question. If you decide to stop right now, then it's left for our audience to make the decision based on what they know of you, Travis, if your story is true or not. If you want to stop now, I certainly would understand. If you'd like to answer this question, I'll be happy to indulge you. What do you think here, guys?
I think you should do it.
Even if it should come up and the answer be something you don't expect it to be.
It's scary. I mean, he's putting his reputation on the line, you know? But his story has been the same, and if it comes down to this is his time. I think he should do it.
Dana?
I think you should do it.
Celeste?
Yes.
Okay.
Question 15. Were you abducted by a UFO on November 5th, 1975?
The moment of truth will continue. Do you think someone you know has been less than honest with you? Get the truth by playing the Moment of Truth Challenge. Text TRUTH to 33088 and you'll get a call back with details on how to play. Each challenge costs $1.99 plus standard text message rates. The Moment of Truth Challenge is for entertainment purposes only and you must be 18 or older. For more information, participating U.S. carriers and terms and conditions, go to fox.com/momentofTruth. Want the truth? Challenge someone today by texting TRUTH to 33088.
This is the moment of truth.
What happened on November 5th, 1975? Well, Travis Walton has told us a detailed account. You can read his book. What is the title of the book?
Fire in the Sky.
Fire in the Sky. Also a movie based on his story, and basically he says he was driving with 6 crew members from a day of work where they saw a flying saucer, and he jumped out of the truck, and the next thing was witnessed by Ken and others that a beam of energy or light hit you, and you believe that you were abducted, and Ken believes that you were abducted by aliens for that period of time. So we asked that question. Question 15 is simply this. Were you abducted by a UFO on November 5th, 1975?
Yes.
That answer is false.
Well, Travis, I told you at the very beginning of this show that I'm not a skeptic. And so I try not to judge or root one way or the other, but I was really hoping that this answer was a true answer. All I will say to you is that when asked this while strapped to the polygraph machine, it was deduced that your response was conclusively deceptive. Sadly, I'll say that the $100,000 you stood to win by answering truthfully is not yours, but I will happily say that by having the courage to face us and be here and answer these questions, 14 of which you answered truthfully, we have $25,000 for you. Is there anything, Travis, you'd like to say before we say goodbye?
Well, the polygraph is 97% accurate, not 100, even in the best of cases.
Travis, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for getting the opportunity for us to hear your story. You can go spend time with your family. Well, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on The Moment of Truth. Good night, folks.
It sounds like something concocted by Walton and Walton's brother Duane, with Mike Rogers being asked to participate with him later, not knowing how the UFO was created, but agreeing to play along using the forestry contract date not being met as the reason. With the rest of the five-man crew not knowing anything about the plan, but making it seem truly like an abduction using that fire tower and a spotlight to fool the crew. Again, says the evidence to support that, outside of just my no-name opinion. Once again, an abduction story like the Hills that only stands up to the promoter's word and not that of the purveyors of facts or scientific scrutiny. I've yet to hear one of these extraordinary claims that has extraordinary evidence, as Michael Shermer or Carl Sagan have said. Next week is my updated version of the Roswell crash.